Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case, catching up with the latest updates, news, discussions from the different various Facebook pages, the after effects of what went down in recent time and beyond, looking at some comments here and there too, and giving my general analysis on the matter. Now, this is kind of a bulk video. There will be some particular post I may miss out because it can be reserved for a separate one possibly, but welcome to anyone who has managed to make it and those back to back with my other videos earlier to this live premiere. Share your thoughts and opinions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen, and at the end of watching this video be sure to drop a comment down below to help spread that awareness on this case, the video, and furthermore so you get the chance to share your after thoughts, any questions you may have, and then I can respond back to them later. And if you are interested in supporting, or if you want to support this channel, down below in the comment section, pinned message by me, there'll be additional links to follow through with. And also shout out to those that have done so in recent time, and especially those in the background as well. Very good. I don't want to mention anyone's name out of respect for privacy, but you know who you are. Furthermore, if you are simply interested in the recent coverage and the earlier videos I uploaded and you don't want to miss out, don't worry, all under control. If you go to the top right corner screen where the eye symbol is, and I've mentioned that a few times today, it's kind of like deja vu. You click on that eye symbol up there, you get a drop down box with the full playlist, on this case that I've covered, and the loose videos from earlier and even last night. Make sure to check them out, they are quite interesting. And they kind of all connect together, so there's a good flow to it. And we just keep that up and in terms of the awareness of these particular topics and themes in the case, try and maintain a level of balance and see where things go. Not everybody can do that, and we've seen some silly points and claims mentioned by others out there and even directed towards me, but try and keep that under control and wraps. With that all being said, let's just get straight onto Facebook now and see what's going on. I believe we'll start off maybe with the Army page, and if there's time, take a look at the case discussion one. To start off with, on the Army page, Justin Roy's post 2 days ago, we'll just acknowledge this. And one of the reasons as to why is because it's more of a follow-up. When it came to that video of mine, what I did some days ago, looked at the comment section, saw there was like lots of back and forth talk, and some of it may have got a bit personal, but I recorded it earlier on in the day, so then later on in the day there was more comments, and by then, you know, I couldn't record it. So I guess there's been screenshots taken and posted by Justin Roy since. We'll just see what it's all about, what's going on. Let's see. This is what they do. Noticed how she threatens harm on my kids? I have never wanted to harm anyone. I've always just wanted the truth and get Noah and the justice he deserves. But look at the manipulation, deflection and lies. Then she claims that LE is talking to her, yet not Noah's family. This is exactly what we've been dealing with for over a year now, sadly. Thoughts on this? There's more post on Warlike Ras podcast if you want to go read. So I appreciate that for Justin spreading awareness with my video here and there. That's all good. In terms of Noah Presgrove's family, how much contact have they been with the police since? Has much happened? There's like a tag there, Governor Kevin Stitt, whoever that is, and some photos attached, which we'll try and get to now. On the left-hand side of the screen, which is a bit annoying. Maybe I'll zoom in and move it over. Yeah, that'll do. So, the context, who's posted this one? They're at 3 a.m, but yes, I do believe Noah was murdered, that's my opinion, but why do you and George keep blaming Alicia and KP? Okay, know exactly what happened. Right, so this is Justin's comment believing that Brooke knows what really happened to Noah. So why don't you just tell us the truth and get it over with, instead of you looking for a way out, lesser charges for those involved, and that's sickening. You're the one that needs help. You and your little boy George, you're both a sick, vile narcissist that fit well together. Brood of vipers, both of you. And what did Brooke say back? Curious, I know it wasn't a vicious murder, but say he fell asleep in the back of the truck. Right, I remember that one. We'll just move on quickly. Why do you believe adults are lying? And Justin says, because you just claimed you know it wasn't a murder. How do you know that? Also, if you don't think it was a murder, why do you and little boy George keep insinuating that Alicia had some to do with Noah's death. I mean, wouldn't that be murder mass? Talk about deflection and manipulation. Why don't you just tell us the truth? Right, we've seen that. BBC, George, Nana Bentley, Jodie, Hellstrom. I don't know who Hellstrom is, and not really Jodie. Now, when Justin referred to Jodie, wait, is that the Jodie that accused Justin and his group of people paying Warlike Raph for $20? I didn't know it was that cheap. Come on, man. Gotta up the standards. It's not just 20, it's about 100. Get it right. But who knows what the hell's going on there. There'll be maybe other names out there I've not heard of, like Hellstrom. Never heard of that. Does anyone know who Hellstrom is? It sounds more like some fish, what you get on a can. Anyway, something to do with Noah's death. Wouldn't that be considered murder? Yeah, when I think Noah was murdered, y'all jump all over me. Why talk about deflection and manipulation? So I guess I can say we all agree Noah was murdered, right? We just think different people committed the crime. Y'all have been throwing Alicia and KP out there for a while now, insinuating they had something to do with it now. In fact, one of George's last DMs to me was that he thought Alicia had something to do with it. Would that not be murder? Got him. Right, so these must be the newer ones. To Sherry, Justin says, well, I know more than you for sure, and yes, we will see. Foul play definitely involved. The real issue is, why do you think Alicia and Caden Pressey had to do with Noah's death? Again, wouldn't that be considered a murder? Yet when I claim he was murdered, as my opinion, y'all jump all over me. Wait, is this repeated again? It gets confusing. Brooke says, what's silly is starting lies and rumours about kids with zero proof, then blaming it on other kids when you get caught in lies. Actually, I think you're insane. Insanity fits you much more than silly. I can't wait till this is solved. The amount of harassment you're going to receive is going to be... Isn't that the Italian symbol for delicious or perfect? I don't know. So basically, there's going to be a lot of harassment towards Justin Roy from what Brooke says. Brooke to Skippy, considering they saw him walk off, I would assume they thought he kept walking. No one sat there and watched him every move. I do remember a reference by Jack in the last Partners in True Crime interview, the last one done, where Jack said, Noah walked off east towards the highway and it faded out into blackness because of the darkness and lack of lighting. So it's just assumed that Noah walked onwards towards the highway. But maybe he didn't. Maybe he stopped so far on. But let's just say Noah did actually walk towards the highway and the partygoers just assumed that that was the case. Would they be okay with that, knowing their friend or best friend is walking towards a hazardous zone on top of the railroad tracks, alone, possibly a little drunk, not in the right frame of mind, alone and in the dark? Was there no thoughts of, oh, do you know what? We probably should go after him, or at least one should escort him or just be nearby to make sure he's okay. Right? Surely. Anyway. Because if some people believe that Noah walked off and towards the highway and he was walking down the highway, which then eventually led to him being hit somehow by someone, accident or not, hit and run, why are partygoers or some individuals so casual about that at the time, thinking, well, he's going to go towards the highway anyway. Yeah, he's going to go to a dangerous place where it's dark and there's possible vehicles. Yeah, he's probably just going to walk onwards for about a mile or so, but we're not going to stop him. We're just going to let him do his thing because obviously he's safe and he knows what he's doing. Yeah, no. Just seems a little bit casual based off that attitude. What else do we have here? That girl is out there. Maybe you could focus and find out, and if you take your blinds off, you're so stuck in a tunnel vision that you believe it's a vicious murder. Speaking of tell the truth, have all you nephews and family members gone to talk to local law enforcement or OHP yet? Of course, I'm talking about your family members that attended the party. Wasn't that long ago, Justin Roy did a post or a comment somewhere where he made reference to some of his family members who attended the party, two of which had been interviewed by Kathy Bingham, which is interesting. What else, Justin? You as well think Alicia and Caden had something to do with Noah's death. Wouldn't that be considered a murder, like I have been saying this whole time? Yet y'all jump all over me. Oh, we're back to that again. It's when, like, screenshots are copy and pasted and there's duplicates all over the place out of order. It gets confusing. Right. I think we've seen that one, haven't we? Ellie has all the information on all of my family that attended your party house. That is a fact. What they choose to do with it is on them. So when and why do you think Alicia had something to do with Noah's death/murder? Brooke responds, you can try so hard to make us out to be the bad people, but regardless how hard you push it, we aren't. No one I know had anything to do with Noah's death, regardless of the absolute nonsense you spew. How do you sleep at night lying so much on things? I can't wait to see karma bite back on you. It might not be you, but bite your kids. Remember that. Alicia involved herself for no reason. She makes herself look guilty. So we've seen that one, to be honest. Boy, you really must be mentally ill. No one is trying hard to cover anything up. That's you once again spewing lies, as always. I know for a fact the kids I defend are innocent. Guess what? Ellie do too. Honestly, you have the text from Zachary Wright, the OHP officer, basically telling you they are too. Yet once again, you refuse to believe it because you think you're smarter than Ellie. I really hope karma hits you where it hurts the most. Betting it will unfortunately hurt your kids too. I really hope they throw you in jail over this. I promise I'm going to do everything in my power to have you charged. You just make it clearer every day you're doing this intentionally to hurt these innocent kids. Right, so you can see where it gets personal. What else does Brooke say to Skippy? I never said he was walking towards the highway. I don't recall any of the kids saying that either. Well, Jack Newton did. Jack Newton said it in one of the interviews, and I think it could well be the last Partners in True Crime one. I remember Jack Newton stating, and Noah Presgrove, he went east towards the highway. Towards the highway. Not walking on the highway, but at least walking towards it. And I guess assuming that that's what he was planning on doing from Noah's perspective. Okay? So for Brooke to say, I don't recall any of the kids saying that, well, Jack Newton did. And hopefully I can find it sometime. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to take a screenshot only because it will serve as a reminder for the future and a video idea, okay? What else do we have here? Brooke says, they, partygoers, did drive on the side of the highway looking for him. They stopped at the first sand plant entrance on the highway looking for him, which would have been little more than half a mile from him. LE have their phone pings there as well. We know of the pings and how close they got to him while searching. I was never told any of the kids drive a vehicle while searching. Okay. Right, it looks like it could be a bit of a 2-in-1 video from what Brooke says here. I'll take it in mind and I might do a map analysis in the future. Just be on the lookout for it. Maybe not everybody agrees with what's mentioned here, but, a focused discussion video, no harm there. Justin, zero proof. There was literally phone pings by Noah's body. How is that not any proof? Yeah, so those phone pings, there was 2. One of which was Jack Newton's, and then the other one, was it Carter Combs? Was it JJ Bumpass? I don't know. But the supposed reasoning behind Jack's phone pinging near to Noah's body was more so because of a bad signal. But the real question I would say is when it came to Tyler Hardy that made his first call at around 5:46 and it was just static due to a bad signal, where would it ping his phone then? If there's a bad signal, would it ping his phone away from the highway and elsewhere in a random spot, basing it off Jack's logic, or at least what Jack has been told by police, for that consistency to follow? Right. Justin says here, that's not what you posted and said on pages. All of you were in accordance to agree with Brooke and George that Alicia had something to do with Noah's death. Don't be a liar now. And if they did, would that not be a murder? So all of you were insinuating that Noah was murdered and trying to push it off on Alicia, Caden Pressey and the uncle. Talk about manipulation. Who is the uncle? The uncle of who? Is that it? Let's try and get back out of this. Oh, it keeps zooming in. I hate when it does that. Ooh, there we go. So it's kicked me off, which is perfect. We have to go all the way down. This is what I don't like about Facebook, the layout of it. It's dodgy as hell. Comment-wise, we probably don't really need to spend too long here, right? So how were parents already there when Jack just came in and told them Noah was not alive? And that's by Carter Combs. Have we seen this post before? Maybe we haven't. Let me get a screenshot of it just in case for the future. Carter Combs says, the 911 call was made at 5:53, or close to that, I believe. Yeah, well, a call was made at 5:53, the final official one. The first call was around 5:43, okay? So, the whole 5:15 timeline of Caden Pressey is wrong, and phones and calls and text will prove that like they did. I also just want to mention, out of everyone there, Jack has been the only one to take a lie detector willingly and pass it too, and he's been cleared from the investigation. Also, I'd like to mention Jack didn't just walk in and tell us Noah had passed away. He came in running and buried his head into my bed saying Noah was gone, stayed for a minute, and said, I got to get back to Noah. I can't leave him alone there. Also, like the phones do show, none of us went back to sleep. Me, Logan, Avery and Jazz and her parents stayed outside crying, not understanding any of this, just like you, but this is also spreading lies, and I'll stand by that in court too and pray to God Noah gets justice. Right, Noah is the only victim here. Okay, I have seen this before, but maybe we can go over it again. It's interesting though, when Carter Combs says the whole 5:15 timestamp of when news came out about Noah's death and Jack storming back to tell everyone, Carter Combs saying that Caden Pressey is wrong. But what is ironic is when Carter Combs defends Jack by saying, whereabout is it? I'd like to mention Jack Newton didn't just walk in and tell us Noah had passed away. He came running in and buried his head into my bed and making a bit of a noise as well, basically. Carter Combs isn't exactly defending Jack Newton there, because Jack Newton shot himself in the foot when it came to the last Partisan True Crime interview, I believe, where he said himself that he walked on in. He didn't run in, he didn't barge in, he didn't rush. He did it calmly, and he told one person, then the other, slowly about the news. And yet Carter here, how she's worded it, is more consistent with like how Caden Pressey worded it too, about storming on in. Whilst maybe Carter doesn't agree with Caden's timestamp of when it happened, both individuals give the same description as how Jack announced the news. And yet Jack himself has changed the story since by saying, oh, I did things differently. I didn't just burst or run on in. I actually did it slowly and told people calmly and quietly. So how come your own girlfriend at the time of this couldn't even back you up on that? Or at least yourself be consistent with your girlfriend backing you up? That is a little bit out of sync, to be honest with you. But you know what's also interesting? And I don't know if it's been worded already, but just from my own individual analysis, for Jack to be referencing for a minute and said, I got to get back to Noah. I can't leave him alone there. You can't leave him alone. So does that mean at around 5:15, let's put it that way, that Noah was alone and no one was around, meaning those truckers weren't even present then? More so linking on with, or applying it more so to Caden Pressey's timeline, that when Jack got back to the highway, truck drivers had just arrived. Is that possible? It's just to say that it depends what time those truckers arrived. Based on Caden Pressey's timeline, the service truck and semi, unknown individuals, what time did they arrive at? Before or after Jack was present at the highway? If they weren't there at the time, but Jack was, so then he went back to the house, it would make sense for him to say, I can't leave Noah alone there. But the truckers were already there, and then Jack arrived, and then Jack went back to the party house to let everyone know. To say, I don't want to leave him alone there, well, technically Noah wouldn't be alone if those truckers are present. Maybe Jack meant it more so as in, I can't leave Noah alone out there with strangers and whoever else that may pass by. It all comes down to language and wording. But yeah, the references to, our phones do show none of us went back to sleep, and, our timestamps will link up. That's what we're being told. Was it AX? Was it ACBC? I don't even know the alphabet. What am I on about? But someone recently said, yeah, but the other party goes, and literally everyone says the same timestamp or is in line with one another, besides what Caden may say. Yeah, but okay, if this is an example of that, what Carter Combs says on behalf of herself and other partygoers, that we're in sync, our timestamps are correct, they tell the truth. Okay, but to us, as a general public, could you say it's her say because we're not actually seeing the phone data, the hard evidence ourselves? It might exist out there. It might have been handed in to the police in the background privately. It's all there. But it's hard to believe when, the general public just have to take it as truth, just in words and not in hard evidence. Work in progress, I would say. Why did it kick me off again? What else do we have here? Carter Combs to Shannon Scott. I was supposed to go with him on the fishing trip and I was already awake when he woke up because we just got from looking for Noah. Right. Do I get a screenshot of this as well? Oh no, I'm going to get lots of screenshots, aren't I? Goodness. I don't want to spend too long on this because, we've got that one as well about Renee. Composure. Infuriating. Brooke actually inserted herself for no reason, not Alicia. Alicia has every right to stand by her son and speak the truth. Oh no, what do we have here? I wonder if she said it out loud before she typed it. The more they talk, the more attention they draw to themselves, in my opinion. It's not helping anyone by the continued bullying. Holly, she deleted that comment immediately, I think because I tried to read it as I was following the convo and it was instantly gone. Really? Is it gone? I wouldn't even know, unless YouTube auto-deletes stuff at times. What's this one? The only ones who truly know what happened that night were the ones who were present and awake. So who was present and awake then? Jack, maybe, yes, no. Jasmine, Avery, Carter, Logan. There'll only be so many because then you got the likes of supposedly Mikey, Brylan, Isaac, Caden, who were asleep. What else do we have there? So the kids at the party are guilty here. If someone's horrible parents had been involved, there wouldn't be a body in question. You would never have found him. Yeah, we've seen all that before. A lot of references made back. Gets quite deep, doesn't it? What's this one? She only took one kid home because she snuck out of her home and she needed a ride home and lived 1 mile. This is on camera. So please everyone stop acting like Carter Combs took all these kids home, not Noah. Right, quick question. When you say this is on camera, camera where? At the party house or at the place the kid was being dropped off at? Because I thought the cameras at the party house weren't working. What I'd like to find is the comment by Stevie Howard in reference to the Texas boys caught on camera at the party house where the CCTV actually worked for a little bit. We'll leave it there for now because I keep getting bloody kicked off because stupid Facebook and the layout is so silly. What's this one about? So here's something that has come to mind. Why would LE need to take phones if it was ruled as a hit and run? Why would LE ask for the phones of the kids after OHP arrived, then states it's a suspicious death? That would make more sense to take the phones. I mean, he was laying there with no shorts on and debris in the shoes, which was grass. Shorts being unremarkable with no damage, the white shorts. The shoes, or at least one shoe, would have came off, and that being the hey dude. Wait? Why are we saying the shoes, or at least one shoe, would have came off? Oh, you mean it would have came off, one of the shoes at least, if it had been truly a hit and run? Is that what you mean, Burgow? Then I'd understand. But when you say, and that being the hey dude one, why would it be the hey dude shoes specifically that could come off? A different fitting? I mean, is it a slip-on? Is the Adidas one of Noah's not a slip-on? But I thought both had laces anyway. And if they've got laces, they should fit well onto the person's foot. Whatever. After Jack Newton grabbing the shorts in front of personnel, policeman, and being allowed to, problematic, then being told to put them back is tampering with evidence, yet the police didn't seem too bothered about it. It doesn't matter if there was traffic coming through, he shouldn't have touched them. Yeah. He shouldn't have touched them. Possible red flags. But the police guy present should have done better and said, you need to step back. Right? Actual authority should have told Jack what's right, what's wrong, what you can and can't do. Right, okay. To understand, we've got Sherry. Also, the shorts being clean is very telling, meaning they couldn't have been in the road very long and they couldn't have been on Noah with no blood debris on them. Right, so you talk, Beth Carr is referring to the white shorts that were found in the middle of the road. That's what the most important factor is and what can get forgotten about at times. Whether it be white shorts, black shorts, whether they were switched about or changed or not, the fact that shorts are in the middle of the road is questionable. Now, I know one person got a tiny little bit cocky by saying, it's quite possible, man, and so on and so on. But it all comes down to the quality and the state of the shorts. It's okay someone saying, yeah, shorts can end up in the middle of the road down to a hit and run if the shorts have torn, ripped, fell off, caught that way, but there'll be visible damage for him to end up away from Noah's body. Yet the specific shorts that were found in the middle of the road were undamaged. No visible clear damage. In comparison, or more so in contrast, to the black shorts that were described by partners in true crime as ripped, torn, in tatters. Interesting. Even though Alicia Lee counters it and says partners in true crime, that it wasn't ripped. So then what condition was it in then? It's confusing, isn't it? Never sat well with me. Why mess with evidence? Why do a police allow someone like Jack to mess with possible evidence? It's kind of odd, isn't it? The situation with Jack moving those shorts from the road, even if he was doing it because he didn't want them to be harmed and he wanted to save and preserve the evidence, okay, fair enough. But the policeman, the police presence, should have done better and said you need to step away from the scene, and yet they didn't. It reminds me of the Dylan Rounds case when Brenner, the murderer, unknown to people at the time, was able to go into the grain shed, move the vehicle out, last known vehicle used by Dylan Rounds, to then bag stuff up inside, possible evidence, and then dispose of it afterwards, and the police did nothing about it. It's pathetic. What was his reason for taking the shorts? Well, just to move them away so they wouldn't get harmed anymore. Main reason we know that Ellie did rule out hit and run is because every article in People Mag and also Daily Mail all say so, and the reporters get their information from LE to report. There's been consent there. Well, we got Mel the cat. This is what gives me hope when I start losing it that there really are good men, women with integrity in law enforcement there. They know what's up. They're just needing to get their ducks in a row. Never heard that before. They know they only get one shot at this. I think even if someone there had tried initially to screw things up by going against protocol procedure, someone is aware enough that things don't look right to do things like this. I hope I'm right. Guess time will tell. Right, we'll leave it there because we caught up on that. This particular one we'll have to do in a separate video, okay? Tamila, Happy New Year. Skip through this because it's just bits and bobs. No. Actually, what's that one? Wondering if anyone has seen any pictures of the dove hunt that took place that Labour Day. You mean photos at the actual event? No, don't talk about dove hunt or you're going to get Justin Roy questioning stuff again, because remember how that went. Wasn't able to get the communication. So it goes, that location, dove hunt, and it was Avery Combs' birthday girl that kind of advertised it or reposted it elsewhere, whether that be on Facebook or Instagram. Anything else? Jamie Woodmansey. Lake Wilcoxon spoke up and said the hunt was on his land down the road. I looked everywhere and could not find a single photo from 2023. Hunts from years prior to 2023 have available photos. People say it's a little strange. What's this going on about? Party house there, and then Apache Avenue, which is that is that Terrell, the town of Terrell, but on the left-hand side, 12 Apache Avenue, where it took place, the hunt. Interesting. Supposedly. And there we go, it kicks me off. I think next time I'll have to try and press a different button. Oh, this one. Oops, forgot to include picture. So it's like someone on like a bunk or up a ladder looking down inside of a house with a beer pong table, but it says, Lake Wilcoxon, is this taken on that property? Lake says, nope, no clue where that is. No clue where that is. Wasn't it Alicia Lee, though? Yes, I remember I did a video of that particular photo, and I know you can't see it clearly, but I have done a video about it in the past, and I was trying to work out, is that from the party house? And then Alicia Lee said, nope, that's not from the party house. Ask Lake Wilcoxon, and he will tell you where. At first I thought, who the bloody hell's Lake Wilcoxon? Is that a name of a place? A tourist attraction? No, it's supposedly an actual person. So Lake Wilcoxon, I'm guessing related to Bud Wilcoxon somehow. Correct me if I'm wrong. But for Alicia to say, if you ask Lake, he will tell you where it's at. And looking at this, he says, nope, no clue where that is. Well, that's helpful. How do I get off? We're like, no, it kicks me. Lake says down the road. However, please read that the picture of the map he admits to being correct, but says it is 4 miles because you can't walk straight across. But that's nonsense. If I walk around my property 10 times, that doesn't increase my acreage, just my distance. Okay. What else do we have here? Did Avery Combs spend time with y'all during the hunt, or did you go to a birthday party? It would make sense for family to be with her for a birthday. Did not many show up since they didn't post any pictures. The Masonic Lodge didn't even act like they acknowledge all your family did to host it for them. Lake says, it was only my group of friends. It was posted a few days prior to the hunt and did not have any success. If you'd like to question the game warden, you can. He showed up and checked everyone's licenses. Right. What was that one? I took part in the dove hunt, Lake Wilcoxon says. It was not on the same property as the party house. It was on my property 4+ miles away. Right, we've seen a few bits and bobs like this before. That's where it was. It's much further than a mile. What's that one? Right, so we've seen that little map thing earlier. That's where it was, but it's much further than 1.5 miles. The person was. I've seen that. Yeah. Okay. Why does the dove hunt matter so much, then? Oh, Justin Roy. What's this one all about? Landon Armstrong, the one who's with Stevie Howard. Gonna be a repeat as soon as you get home. Oh, whoa. What's going on there? Oh, you mean another hunt? Oops. Landon Armstrong is with Stevie Howard. Took her down in dove slaying and base slaying today, whatever that means. What's that on? Is that Facebook? It just looks different, the layout. Okay. Oh, and last but not least, this is the one by Avery, which was on, I don't know if that's Instagram or Facebook. Sometimes it's hard to keep up, but just like reposting it. Opening weekend. Come hunt this weekend with us down in Terrell. Real Border Outfitters. Do you see it? There. And basically, the theme is, anyone that attended that dove hunt Friday, Saturday, did anyone come or go from the party house in between? Is that why there was more firearms at the party house? Because people were coming or going from that hunt earlier. But then again, in fairness, supposedly the hunt had their own weapons at hand. So it's not, I don't think it's a case of bring your own gun. But then again, if people want to, on the sideline, do other hunting elsewhere, you still got patterns and themes. But even if people had firearms with them at the party, why does it matter if people have guns with them? Because I guess because of social hosting laws, but it's been broken, underage drinking as well, and in possession of firearms, it's one problem after another. And then at some point there was that phase where people were pushing it as in, well, if firearms are present, they could have been a murder weapon, they could have been used somehow to kill Noah. So that's why people probably apply it to the dove hunt as well. Bev Carr, sounds like their phones have been released, so now they can alter those dates and timestamps legally, so get ready, folks. They think they're being clever, and there's another way to attack Caden Pressey and his timeline of events. I hope you can legally press charges against them for all doing so. This, my opinion, as always. I truly wish they would work with Caden Pressey and find out what happened to Noah instead of working against him. I mean, you know, timestamps are being altered with, manipulated. Is there hard evidence and proof to say that's exactly what has happened? Does someone have the original photo with a different time? I've yet to see it. What's this one? Okay, so credit to Justin for sharing it. That will help. Just a quick look there. Shout out to everyone present there. That's all good. And then this one as well. Oh, why does it keep doing that? Yeah. Credit to the people. Yep. Okay, I just wanted to have a quick look just to see. Comments. No, I don't want to comment. No, thank you. I'm fine. Most relevant. All comments, because there's not many. Just check the responses by people from that video that I had done. You know, the Caden Pressey in the Snapchat post, Mikey Lair, Justin Roy. This right here confirms Caden Pressey's 5:15 timeline. Yeah. We'll do that again if need be. Here, Carter confirms that James' parents are already there, so Jack's 4 a.m. time of death has to be correct. Has to be correct. Does it? Call made 5:53. I don't really see how that links immediately. Come on. Partners in True Crime and Noah's family both confirmed that Caden's attorney verified that Caden's timeline is correct based on his phone data's digital data forensic analysis, and that another partygoer had agreed with Caden's timeline. It would be good, though, to see who the other partygoer was that agreed with Caden's timeline. Whilst yes, it might all be above board and confirmed officially in the background with authorities, on the public surface level, it's hard to believe when that evidence, hard evidence, cannot be displayed. So people have to take other people's words for it, which may not be enough. The only other way to reinforce it would be the level of consistency if more partygoers stepped up publicly and acknowledged Caden Pressey, because yet to really see that, aren't we? What else do we have? Another partygoer had agreed with Caden's timeline in regards to the black shorts being on Noah when they saw him on the highway. What else do we have? Right, individual post by Michael Facecast. So we'll do it now because it's on a bigger screen. Let's talk about the timeline. Jasmine Milan calls her mum to notify her of Noah's death between... Yeah, okay. What the hell? That's weird. Zoomed in. So we basically read this a couple of days ago, basically. And the more important part is lower down where the arrow is. That the homeowner's decision, not mine. The time Jasmine Milan called me as in Renee Milan, the mother to Jasmine Milan, would have had to have taken place between, at the earliest, 5:45 to the latest 6 in the morning. Take in mind, it was 6 in the morning based off Jack's timeline when he got to the scene of the highway, unknown to him in the moment. He thought he was going on a fishing trip, but no, pulled up, got out of the vehicle, and then found out his best friend had died and is found on the highway. And that's 6 in the morning onwards. 5 minutes later, 6:05, calling his father, telling the news. And then, probably 5 minutes more or so, going back to the party house to let everybody know the news. So it could well be 6:15 or close to that, which is kind of like with Caden Pressey's timeline in terms of the minute hand, just not the hour hand. Okay? So to put it into perspective, Jasmine Milan supposedly found out about Noah's death before Jack did. And yet, Jasmine didn't think to tell Jack before Jack left the house going to the fishing trip. That's what's a bit weird, isn't it? Take in mind, it's an estimated time here, but it's one of those things where at the very earliest, 5:45 a.m., that's closer to Caden's timeline rather than Jack's. The latest 6 a.m., whilst that is the time Jack arrived at the highway to then find out, Jasmine, who didn't even go to the highway, who was at the house, already knew. And at least from the communication of how we've worded it, Jack, once arriving at the highway, whether that be on the 5:15 timeline or the 6:15 timeline, Jack, and there was no mention of him calling or texting any of the party goers. Jack made it back to the house to let people know that way. So by the time Jack making it back to the party house to let people know, it wouldn't be 6 a.m. It would be maybe 6:10, 6:15. And yet Jasmine Millan still knew before Jack did, in a way. And Jasmine wasn't even at the scene, so how the hell could she know? And why didn't she tell anyone else besides her mom in that time frame? So we're just basing it off that. People have said, well, why does Renee have to give a rough estimate when she could look at the call logs and the times officially to get a better reading? I don't know why that hasn't been done unless they don't have it anymore. Now, comment-wise, there's only one. All these different timelines can be proven, disproven with cell data. This case is so frustrating. And that's pretty much it for that there. Bear with me. Newest post. Look, the Cookie Monster was also in Terrell, Oklahoma at 5:27 a.m. What? September 4, 2023. Demonstration of how easily metadata is manipulated. Took me 2 minutes. Let this lend some context to other images floating around. If I'd be honest with you, if it is that easy to manipulate this and that, and it can be done well, you could start questioning absolutely everything about this case and everyone. And then if you do that, you can't trust anything or anyone, and nothing makes sense. That's the problem, isn't it? But I guess more so this is just an example photo. So what does it say here? Modification date, September 4th, 2023 at 5:27. Creation date, September 4th, 2023, 5:27. But I don't know if I'm being an idiot, but the fact that it gives a timestamp of when it was modified, even if it's the same time as when it was created, nevertheless, it shows that it had been modified. But in terms of the timestamps of what we saw on like the Snapchat post, it gave one timestamp. It did not give a modification date timestamp. I don't know if I'm being stupid here, but it just seems obvious that this has clearly been manipulated. And I know that's the point of Michael's post, but to say that it can be easily manipulated to deceive people, well, it doesn't deceive me because I can clearly see when it's been created and when it's been modified. And I know it gives the same exact time. And maybe if you created the image or took the image at 5:27, let's just say, you quickly edited it within seconds, and I mean within seconds, you would still get the same time stamp and date. You know, you've got the hour hand, the minute hand, but what about the seconds? What about the milliseconds? What would that give? Could one say 0.0222 and the other one says 0.1216? You get what I'm saying? So it is possible to manipulate or edit a photo or a post on the same day at about the same time if it's only giving the minute and hour hand, analog or digitally. But the fact that it says it had been modified, even if it gives the same timestamp, it doesn't matter. It's been modified, it's been altered with, it's not truly genuine or original. But what I saw in that Snapchat post with the 5:27 timestamp, whilst it gives a timestamp, it only gives one. It doesn't mention it's been modified or a modified date. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I've countered anyone there, but, you know, it was good that it was posted anyway. Talk about this timeline. Oh, so Michael posted it in the army and the case discussion one. Fair enough. So is there more conversation here? There is. Right, I was wondering. Cindy Litterfield. I've not seen Cindy for a while on YouTube. I still believe Caden, his account of the morning was confirmed by his phone and LE. Confirmed in the background, yeah. But publicly speaking, we've not seen it. So if you're going to, personally, I'm going to have that attitude, even if it applies to me, then I'd have to apply it to everybody else in the case. Michelle, I also remember Noah's family confirming that Caden Pressey's timeline was verified with his phone data by LE. These people are constantly disputing Caden Pressey and, in their words, disrespecting what the family has already stated. See, what the problem is, you got one side that say, well, such and such a person, the phone's been handed in, it's been verified, what they say, the times and everything stated are confirmed, acknowledged, and the police say it's all true and official, so it's all good, no issues. And you got to take people's words for it online. And then you got the opposition that say, well, yeah, cooperated very quick. 5 phones were handed in really early, other stuff too. That was all confirmed. Phone data is all true, correct, and consistent. You got to take their word for it. So at the end of the day, everybody's phone data is in the background and officially correct and confirmed by police. And the source, we've got to trust everybody for their words. But not everyone can be right, can they? When there's different times in the mix of it all. So there is a problem. What else do we have? Mike, Caden Pressey's timeline is not accurate and hasn't been proven. In fact, everyone else's account, including 911 caller Tyler Hardy, disputes this. I still think we might need to go back to Caden Pressey's timeline comparison video that I had already made and just bring it up once again, because I've not seen anyone else do what I've done. So, to put it back into perspective. It's not an attack, it's just a comparison to put it into perspective. What else? Also, why does Carter... Stop doing that. Why does Carter mention Jasmine's parents are already being there after Jack heads back to Noah? Let's just see. Yeah, that's probably what I missed out on before. Said, I gotta get back to Noah, who's at the highway. I can't leave him alone there. Also, like the phones do show, none of us went back to sleep. Me, Logan, Avery and Jazz and her parents stayed outside. Yeah, but that does not give an exact time as when that happened, right? I think what Michael has interpreted was that when Jack got to the party house, let's say basing it off Caden's timeline at 5:15, Jack heads back to Noah along the highway, and in the process of Jack heading to the highway, Jasmine's parents are already at the house. That's how it's interpreted by Michael, I believe, but I don't think that's what's meant by Carter. It's just how it's been typed up with her statement. So how I would interpret it more so... Oh no, I best not zoom in like that because I won't be able to get back out. Shit. How I interpret it, clicking on the image itself, there we go, would be Jack arrives at the party house at 5:15 or 6:15 and then rushes back to the highway. In regards to our phones, such as myself, Carter Combs and others, the data or whatnot shows that none of us went back to sleep, including me, Logan, Avery and Jazz, and her parents who stayed outside crying, but no time given as in later on once the parents did arrive. Because earlier, the likes of Logan, Avery and Jazz and Carter didn't go back to sleep because they were crying. And I guess Jazz was waiting for her parents to arrive at a later point, around, 6:30 from Caden's timeline, or 7, close to 7, from Renee, the parent herself, timeline, or, if you wanted to believe in Jade, who wasn't even there but was pregnant, 9 in the morning. Okay? It's sentence structuring which confuses people, hence why these posts are made. It's, sometimes it can't be helped. Let me zoom out. Why will it not let me zoom out? Oh, no. Right, so we've got a Cookie Monster there. Tammy, Partners in True Crime, episode 11. Around the 1 hour and 7 minute mark, they said Noah's belongings were given to Jack Newton's dad. The black shorts, hat, wallet, sunglasses, shoe. And Jack Newton and Caleb Newton passed them out to friends for mementos instead of giving all of them to Noah's family. Why would OHP give Noah's stuff to Caleb instead of Noah's family? Doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't make sense. But then again, Tammy, ever since that, you had that random person that showed up on Facebook saying, oh, I am a ex-boyfriend to Noah Presgrove's mom. Noah Presgrove's mom passed on the shirt, passed on some more items onto that guy. And we've not heard any updates since. What a mess that is as well. George, sure doesn't make sense. Apparently partners in true crime have since did their homework, and having to address such discrepancies in any subsequent episodes might have just been too much of a headache. I don't believe they were ever given to law enforcement in the first place. Oh, Dusty Butler. Not seen Dusty Butler in a while. Interesting. Anonymous. Sounds like their phones have been released, so now they can alter those. Yeah, we've seen that before, haven't we? Saddens me how so many seem to want to keep a blind eye to the truth. A complete stranger whose godsister was murdered along with unborn son. Sorry to hear that. Right, so darkness from the past. We got Tim Daniel, 15 hours ago, poll time. For those who viewed yesterday's excellent Warlight Wrath video, well, I appreciate that, featuring newly released Snapchat evidence that showed timestamped photo proof of Mikey in the house at 5:27 and not on the roadside, please vote. After reviewing the video, which timeline do you now lean towards? As always, disagreements are civil discourse and encourage do your best to make your point by using facts rather than name calling. Right. So we've got the votes there, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, Tim Daniel taking votes poll? No. I did a poll myself on my YouTube channel. Last time I checked, 69 people had voted. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes itself. 24 votes leaning more towards 615, 8 leaning towards Caden Pressey's 515. Interesting. All right, there we go. So Tim Daniel shares the link to my video, so I appreciate that. That's good to know. Andrea Chubrov, points for all those emojis. I think Kane and Pressey, Jack Newton's stories are the same, minus a few details, so I go with 615. I also saw the 527. Okay. Right. Lots of people were watching in real time, including those with multiple family members who were at the party that night. They cherry pick what they chose to believe. What the fuck? Absolutely nothing points to 515. Not one piece of evidence, no matter how hard EP pushes it, has confirmed it, and no one has seen any evidence of it. It didn't happen. It's nice to see the number of votes reflect evidence finally. If there can be more hard evidence on Caden Pressey's side, that would be welcomed as well, but I've yet to see it. A lot of the evidence says, well, it's been said in the background. It's been confirmed in the background. Surface level, not good enough, but I know not much can be done about it at moments in time, but still, you get what I'm saying? Okay. Whoa, keeps kicking me about. ABC, what's that all about? Where are the attorneys? It looks like we've catched up now. That's good to know. So I just wanted to transition on to some additional thoughts of my own, my opinions. Have I made it clear enough when it comes to Caden Pressey's timeline and Jack Newton's? Which one do I believe in more? I would say I can't jump into one at this moment in time. In the past, I was more comfortable with Caden Pressey's and with the richness of it, but then when it came to that leaked interview, it kind of turned things upside down from there on, and I thought, that's disappointing. And I know mistakes can be made along the way, but when there's one, then there's 2, 3, 4, and 5, it accumulates. So it does make me be cautious, and that's it. And the reason why I want to be cautious is because I don't want to jump in at the deep end to believe in it with absolute confidence and certainty to end up possibly down the line being wrong, or it ends up being wrong, and then I'm like, oh, where do I go from here? There was a level of cautiousness within the Dylan Rounds case too. There was a lot of talking, but maybe not enough visual, hard, or case documents, court documents and all that, but some of it hadn't come to court yet because that was in the future, years on. And then anything else in the background was a part of the investigation which couldn't be revealed at the time. But then again, there's a few bits and bobs released along the way at some point, but this time round, just doesn't really seem to be the case. Not really been any updates from the family members, or I don't know if there's been contact with the police as well, any communication, consistency there. It just feels a little bit flat, as I've said. But what I would say is, supposedly there are more photos or more material, whether that be to discredit Caden Pressey or bring things into context and light elsewhere. I think that's roughly what Brooke Bounds-Carter had said, or some other people as well in the background. And whether you take that as a positive sign or a negative sign, if there is new material to work with, there's no harm in looking at it at least, listening to it, trying to analyse it. Providing you don't get brainwashed by it, it should be okay, right? And there'll be people along the way which may be concerned and say, just be careful, other people have turned and changed. Don't make the same mistake, or try not get burnt by the fire. That level of concern is appreciated. But then when you might get other people that jump in at the deep end that are like, oh, what, Warlight Ref is listening to them, he is becoming one of them. It's very drastic, that sudden change up in attitude. I mean, the order of how I've gone about things is, for quite some time, I was looking at it from what Justin Roy was saying, what Caden Pressey was, maybe Alicia and others, whether I'd be classified as being on the right pathway or what. I was listening to a range of different people on one side, and then here and there may have looked at it from the other side, but there wasn't always a clear opportunity or material to work with exactly. And when there might have been a little bit, it just wasn't good enough as for context. But finally, when it came to that Snapchat with an actual photo shown and not just the overlay timestamp, it just created a bit more of a fuller picture. Even if people don't agree with it or believe in it, it enabled people to see it. Because what you got to understand is that particular photo of Mikey Lair asleep and Logan and Jasmine nearby in the bed, could be Logan's bed because she lived out at the house at the time, but still, the fact. But then you could say, well, what's Mikey doing? What would Mikey Lair be doing in one of the girls' beds when someone like Noah Presgrove, who's considered more popular and liked, couldn't even get a bed at the time to sleep in? That was just came out of nowhere, that question, but I just wanted to suggest it, that's all. Why would people reject Noah with the bedroom thing compared to Mikey? Is there favoritism? Does it really matter that much? Is it that deep? Well, you can let me know down below in the comments section. But just in terms of that photo itself, never been revealed before, or at least to the majority of people out there, never had the chance or opportunity to see it. And then the one time, the one moment when it is presented, people, well, some start complaining or having a go at me, but it's because of me that has enabled other people, I think that's how you would word it, enabled other people to be able to see the photo. That because of my coverage and how I've done things, someone or some people feel like they can reach out in some way, and here's a bit of material here and there, and then I spread that awareness about it in a controlled way, not just one-sided, but in a controlled way. And then it enables the majority of people to see it. And all that time beforehand, they didn't have that chance. So that should be a positive, right? And as I said, the order of how I did things to begin with and who I listened to, or at least acknowledged, was more maybe one from one side than the dark side. And yet the dark side seemed somewhat patient. You get what I'm saying? So the dark side may have interpreted it as in, oh, Warlight Ref is only looking at it one side of the story within the case. Basically, I was just getting through it bit by bit because I did join late, so it did take some time to try and learn and understand everything, right? Other people have been around since day one. I haven't. There was that. Accessibility as well. That was another factor. So you'd think people's patience could wear thin and not be willing to reach out, but wasn't the case. There was a level of understanding. And even though Brooke Bounds-Carter may not be the most popular individual in the community or in certain areas, and a lot of people may not get on well with her or may not like her, the fact that Brooke Bounds-Carter, passing on or answering certain questions and stuff in the odd photo here and there, like what we said, specifically that Snapchat one up to now, at least, is that she said in her own words that Warlike Ref looks at it as a whole from all perspectives. So whilst other people out there could say, well, Brooke is pushing a narrative, or it's one-sided and it's not natural and there's an agenda behind it, and then you've got me that looks at it from all sides, okay, the right side, the wrong side, and anything in between, Brooke does acknowledge it. So there is a level of reasoning ability, and as long as there's reasoning ability, there should be a bit more stability than how it's been in the past. So I don't see it as a major problem or issue. Obviously, just in general, in this case, this commutative, it felt like there was a level of high pressure or forcefulness behind certain things. Well, then we may have a problem. I've not encountered that just yet. Previously, I might have come across some very passionate people or high energy, where they're like, come on, do it, do it. When are you doing it? When is it coming? Come on, like that. It's like, whoa, slow down. If things are rushed, more likely for errors to be made. And if you jump the gun, you might misinterpret a post, a word, some language. It's happened with other people. I don't want to recreate that or do it too much. So I've got to go at a certain pace. And like with these videos, today was more of a bulk one because of the post in general. The one by Joyce I'll refer back to because it gave a transcript of I think the last interview with Jack Newton, which when they were reacting to it on the show with Ashley Chadwick, Robin Smith, who were present during it. I'll have to look into that. And then that Brooke Bounds Carter's statement, or that mention of driving down the highway or so looking for Noah so far up and no results yielding success, just to visually put it out there, and there's no harm. I think the important part with this case, and more so should have been applied earlier on as for other people, is feel free to listen. Don't completely dismiss or brush it off, because if you do, there might come that one time where it's truthful, meaningful, or important, and you brushed it away and it's forgotten by then, and that would be very unfortunate. But if you do jump in at the deep end, just to be careful, just so it doesn't mess your own mind up or it doesn't create any trust issues, okay? Are we any closer to the truth? Directly to do with Noah, no, but are we closer to any timelines being reinforced or countered? Well, at this moment, I'd say we're in the presence of counterpoints and counter evidence. If there's any counter evidence in defense of Caden, that would be interesting to see. I've not seen it just yet, but if there are, updates needed in the future, I'll do some. And of course, if there was other party-goer timelines, right, public ones, that would be interesting as well to see how it really compares. Because there might be a lot more stuff going on elsewhere, but it's just brief references, and it's more so to do with what's going on in the background and in terms of discussions online and what you're supposed to believe or trust in. There's a bit of a disconnect. Until you see it yourself or experience it, then things may change. But we'll leave it there for now. I have done a handful of videos today. I've tried breaking it down to separate them so it doesn't clog up anything. And if you want to check them out, I said top right where the eye symbol is. My name's Warlike Ref. If you want to share this video, feel free to do so. And if you want, hit the thumbs up. That'd be appreciated. That's it for now. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Good night.